So what? What's the meaning of the resurrection? Why is a whole faith based off of this idea?
Whoop-de-doo! What does it all mean?
The final element of resurrection I want us to look at is the meaning, the significance for Jesus and the significance for us. This is proof that Jesus is divine. Okay? It's saying, especially in John's gospel, who's constantly saying, I'm telling you the truth. This is the truth. You can now go back and look at all of Jesus' teachings and rest assured that he was telling you the truth.
I'm telling you the truth.
So we need to stop worrying. The Gospel of Matthew passage in the Sermon on the Mount says, do not worry. Even God provides for birds. So why are you worrying about tomorrow?
Tomorrow is another day.
If the impossible was made possible, the resurrection of Jesus truly occurred, what are we worrying about? All we have to do now is look back to every promise Jesus ever made and just have faith that we're going to be taken care of. And it's not just the promises that Jesus made. This is the fulfillment of the entire Old Testament. So everything that we learn about God and we learn about salvation from the Old Testament has come true. So we suddenly don't have to doubt anymore.
I have doubts.
All biblical prophecies, all biblical teachings are true. So we can relax.
Relax. Take it.
By and large, one of the most significant meanings to the resurrection is the fact that we have been liberated from sin and death.
Free and last.
This is what St. Paul says. He likes to use that imagery of the slaves and the chains, that the sin is holding us slavery. And Jesus tore apart those chains.
I could break these cuffs.
You can't break those cuffs.
He tore apart those chains. And now we know that sin and death are not the final words.
Right.
You really might be missing what I'm trying to say here. Because we have, fortunately, 2,000 years of Christian tradition that has preached that there is life after death. But imagine what this would have meant to a first century Jew.
Hard to imagine.
There was no evidence prior to Jesus of life after death. None. There was no evidence prior to Jesus that grace is greater than sin.
Grace!
And this affects us because now we can have a new perspective on life. A perspective on life that is hopeful. This is not the end. There's something better. And again, we talked a little bit about why the apostles went from being in hiding to a willingness to go out and proclaim. They knew that this life doesn't matter. There's something greater out there. And Jesus, their buddy, was evident of that. So they have no fear anymore, and they just went out and proclaimed it. They didn't withhold the truth anymore. They proclaimed it, knowing that grace will triumph over sin, that life will triumph over death.
We're going to survive.
Furthermore, the resurrected body of Jesus, that glorified body, points to our resurrected bodies. That's in our Nicene Creed, that we look forward to the resurrection of the dead.
And maybe the reason we've been so busy lately is because the dead have been rising from the grave.
That at the end of the world, we will be in a physical, glorified state that is immortal, that is eternal, that is imperishable, not limited in time and space. Pretty much all those benefits that Jesus had, that's going to be ours too.
Judgment Day. Judgment Day.
The resurrection brings us hope, and that's a hope that those apostles never had until this event. That's what our faith is based off of.
Such doubts.